welcome back to my channel. I'm in the middle of nowhere at the moment. I'm in Langhorne Creek, which is, if you're from South Australia, it's way down south. It's not way down south, it's about, I think it's about an hour away, hour and a half. So we're down here, just finished up a filming project. We had a 3-location filming project today. So I went from Strathalbyn, well, from the city to Strathalbyn to Lonsdale, Lonsdale to Langhorne Creek, and now I'm going Langhorne Creek home. So it's been a lot of driving today, but you know, as I was driving, obviously, because you have lots of time to think, lots of time to, you know, when you're driving by yourself, you get to do whatever you want, really. But what I was having to think about was, you know, scaling and like building a team and building your business out. You know, one thing that I've found that, you know, some people think just because you're building a team and, you know, say for in my situation, I brought on other team members, maybe they're new videographers or new editors or whoever that is. It doesn't mean that I think I'm above the videography work. It doesn't mean that I think that I'm too good to do that anymore. It's just, to scale, there has to come a point where, you know, if you're doing it all yourself, obviously that's great because you maximize the profits. You're there for everything, so you get to experience everything, and it's almost like a one-on-one relationship with the client, so you can form a much better relationship with them. But when you're trying to scale and when you're trying to scale past that freelancer point, and I've talked about this in past videos, trying to get past that freelancer mindset where you do everything yourself, you need to make sacrifices, and one of them is building out your team, which means the sacrifice in that is, you know, you reduce your personal profit, but the ceiling gets higher. By that I mean, you know, the peak when you're a freelancer could be, say for example, it's $10,000 a month, which it varies from freelancer to freelancer, from videographer to videographer, from creative to whoever it is. It varies based on how much they charge and their experience. But say for example, it's 10,000. And you would make, you know, profit maybe 9,800 because you've got to pay for some software that you use online. Whereas if you build out a team, your personal profit might be, you know, 6,000 or 7,000, you know, for the same 10,000, but your limit isn't 10,000 a month anymore. It's all of a sudden gone up to 30,000 a month because you've got all this flexibility now. You've got more time to actually work on the business instead of in the business. It gives you some time back to yourself to focus on income producing activities like, you know, working on the business. So with that, obviously you sacrifice your short-term profit, so how much you're actually going to be banking, but it gives you the time back, and it gets to a point where you start valuing your time more than you value the money that you're receiving. And once you get to that point, then you can start scaling more, because in those situations before, I was just valuing money over time. I was like, okay, if there's a job coming up, I'll do that, I'll do that, I'll do that. And there's still some stages where I do that because I've got a day and I want to pack as much into it as I can. So I, you know, pick up all these jobs and I go and do them all on one day and get them out of the way. But in the long term, you reach a point where you no longer want to be trading your time directly for money. You don't want to be you know, charging by the hour. I haven't done that in ages, but charging by the hour for projects, you begin to charge by the value you provide. So instead of substituting your time for money, and I've talked about this in a past video, you begin to start looking at how can I, you know, use my money to gain more time. And doing that, in this situation, it would be having a videographer, or in my situation, it would be having another videographer or an editor that, you know, I can send along to a job and say, you know what you're doing. You're a really good videographer. Here's the brief. Can you go and follow this and, you know, create the content for the client? What that means for me, obviously, I reduce my personal profit margin, but I get the time back and I still get some profit from that because it wouldn't all go to the videographer, obviously. But, you know, building out a team is so important if you do want to scale past that point where you think, well, I've got no more time anymore. How am I meant to grow anymore? It's because you have to build out your team, and you know, team is so important. I never thought it was that important before, or I didn't understand how important it was, but now I do. And you know, when you're truly trying to scale something, you're trying to scale your business, you need to make sacrifices in terms of your personal profit, and also, but those sacrifices lead to more time for you, which ultimately should lead to more profit if you value your time enough. So that's the key message for this. You know, obviously, to scale, you know, at the start, you want to be making as much as you can. You want to be putting in those maximum effort. You want to be grinding it out. You want to be, you know, putting in those long days, you know, trying to build something awesome. But once you get to the point where you've got jobs coming in and you've got projects that are coming up and it's getting bigger and bigger, and, you know, you're starting to wonder, how can I manage all my time across all of these different commitments and projects and whatever it is? Plus, I want to have some time for myself. How do you manage all that? It's by building out a team, building out systems as well, because systems are scalable, building out, you know, processes that automate certain things in your business so you don't have to worry about it, whether that be getting some information from the client about the project, where we have a system set up for, the creative brief. So we send a link to a client, they fill it out, it automatically gets put onto a Google Sheet through Zapier, and then it's available, and then it's transmitted again to another Google Sheet that is viewable by all the team members. And then all the team members have access to that link, access to that Google Sheet, and they can view the brief on their phone, on their laptop, wherever it is. They can print it out when they go to a job, so they know what they have to do. And it just automates a lot of time, because previously I would send emails back and forth, left and right, all over the place. But it gets to the point where it isn't sustainable anymore. And sitting down at your laptop, spending like 4 hours on emails, it's not good. So yeah, that's the message for this video. If you do want to scale, obviously you have to make some sacrifices in terms of short-term profit, but overall, building out a team is so beneficial. It's not only beneficial in terms of your time you get back. Obviously you have to cut down on your personal profit, but that's not the point of it. If you want to build something massive, you need to sacrifice. Facebook wasn't built by one person, or Amazon wasn't built by solely one person, ClickFunnels or Apple or anything wasn't built by solely one person. There was the mastermind behind it all, the person that you hear the most about, but, Jeff Bezos couldn't have built Amazon to the level it is right now without creating an awesome team around him. Steve Jobs couldn't have made Apple what it was without the help of, I think was it Steve Wozniak, and there was another co-founder as well. Without their help, he couldn't have done it. So something to think about, build out your team. It's going to have much more long-term benefits, obviously, when you build out a team, and it gives you that flexibility to scale even more. So hope you enjoyed this video and got some value out of it, and hopefully you'll start building your team and scale to new heights. So I'll see you in the next one. Catch you later.